Next, we have a session by Ms. Foluke Michael. Foluke Michael is a disruptive innovator and winner of the UN SDG Action Award for the Innovator category in 2018. She is the founder of the Green Entrepreneurs UK, and she's going to talk about driving innovative global movement against climate change. Over to you, Ms. Foluke Michael.
Good afternoon, evening, and morning, everyone. Can you hear me very clearly, please?
Yes, perfectly.
Yes. Let me start by saying thank you to MS Apana and Mr. Startouch for this great project that you have put together. You have decided on your own to create a movement, a global movement, to promote the world, to help us drive innovation, entrepreneurship, and creativity around the world. We are grateful for this opportunity, for bringing us together. Very grateful. So let me start by thanking again Dr. Dennis Okori. Yeah, he has laid a very good foundation for me to speak. In fact, I'm going to be speaking certain things because it's going to be repetition. We've never met yet. He spoke my mind and he has told us to take action. You know, we should drive innovation. We should use innovation to drive sustainability. And the key question that I took away from his talk is, are we really living a sustainable life? We need to check ourselves. I mean, this is the point where we need to go back to the drawing board and criticize ourselves first. Are we, what we are telling the world to do, are we already living such life? Are we living sustainably? What happened to our lifestyle, our offices? Are we leading change? If we are not, we better go back and lead change before we go back and start talking to others. I think that was really profound. So climate change is very real and it's all over. It is not a problem for Asia or Europe or Africa. It is a global problem. The earlier we start driving innovation, the better for us. And the most important aspect of this is, if we decide to take responsibility as founders, as women leaders, as creators, we are going to be creating massive social impact in different communities around the world, plus creating businesses. Because for every problem, really, your solutions are necessary. And those solutions are not going to be free. They're going to be at a cost. So founders in the house, CEOs, and directors, let us come together to create solutions that is marketable, that is sellable, and that is sustainable. So that as we are doing that, we are going to be creating social impact as well as profit. The world, as I said, is experiencing the effect of climate change. We will see it in form of weather variations, weather events across the world. Temperatures are actually increasing everywhere. Flood, droughts, desertification and land degradation and loss of biodiversity. That quickly takes me to COVID. I mean, if you go deep into the cause of those projects, of COVID, the first thing that will strike your mind is the loss of biodiversity. Scientists say there are over 1.7 million viruses in animals that can creep into the world. COVID is just one of them. So if we don't want the world to shut down anymore, there's need for us to create solutions that will help us to avoid that. Of course, there is soil erosion and flood caused by all sort of intensity of rainfall in many parts of the world. This changing weather pattern are already disrupting livelihood. So many poor people are being created around the world. They are being, on daily basis. We see people that are displaced, people that are displaced in their homes, the farms and all of that. So more poverty, more gender imbalance. But you know what? The more we create founders, the more we get a solution across the table. And meanwhile, women, young people, and people living with disabilities, they are more vulnerable to effects of climate change. And they constitute the most world poor. So And most of these people around the world, they are dependent on natural resources, which is really threatened by climate change. They face social, economic, and political barriers that limit their coping capacity. So I'm still driving somewhere. So we need more rigorous mitigation efforts to protect people and their livelihood. Climate disruption is real across the world. So what do we need to do? To educate, to build capacity, to create solutions, and begin to solve problems. And you may ask me, how do I solve the problem of the world? My answer is start from your household, like Dr. Dennis already told us. You have to start from your company. You have to start from your community. It is called local action. Take local action, solve take local action towards solving global issues. So it has to start no small action. The earlier we start that, the better for us. So how may we, if I may ask the question, my problem statement right now is, how may we drive innovative movement on climate change? That is my question mark. And the answer is, we need to look at the future we want to create. What future do we want to see? You need to visualize. So maybe your own solution statement will be, by 2030, we must achieve goal 1 to 17. Or by 2030, we need the world to take enough action that will make us to mitigate the effect of climate action, looking on the climate action goal 13 alone. So how do we achieve the future we want to create? It's about looking into the future, creating the future in our mind eye, draw the future we want to see, go backward and start designing the project that will help you to get into the future that you have designed to see. And this is what we are doing in this part of Africa, which is Nigeria at the moment. I'm working out of London and out of Lagos, okay? So this is where our skills come on board as founders and CEO. We need to grab courses. We need to go for knowledge, like the kind of forum we are right now. Gain 1 or 2 things and start learning so that you know that your skill is very important to design the future you would like to see. So I'm going to take a case study that would help us to digest what we are doing around here. So some months ago, we realized that we need to pick up a project that would drive action globally by taking local responsibility. So the project is called The Road to Planting 10 million trees, sustainable economic trees in Nigeria by September 2030. So in my mind eye, myself along with my team, we have seen 10 million trees on the ground. That's the project we want to see in 2030, okay? So why do we need to plant the trees? And this is where innovation comes in. We need to be able to determine, why are we doing what we are doing? Because it's not enough for us to gather, talk about projects, and come back next year, we're still talking about it. We must mitigate the effect of climate change by taking responsibility with utmost importance. I mean, it has to start now. So why do we want to see that project in 2030? So I define as, we want to be able to capture carbon through tree planting. If you may know, planting of 6 indigenous trees is equivalent to 1 ton of carbon dioxide. So meaning that you can offset your carbon footprint by planting 6 trees. Just 1 is just going to give you 1 ton. And then 2, to protect the planet for the future generation. That is why we're doing what we're doing. And number 3 is, we are supporting the goals of Paris Agreement. And number 4 is commitment towards global net zero. This is what the world wants to see, isn't it? And that's why we're doing what we're doing. And of course, biodiversity protection to protect us from all sorts of diseases. And of course, commitment to ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance. That is why we want to do what we want to do. So now, what kind of step do we need to take, or are we taking? So just sit back and relax. Having determined the project and why the project has to be done, the next stage is to look at the project processes from the beginning of the project to the end. That is from initiation to a project closure. So if we need to look at processes as founder, we need to know our starting point. Who are our stakeholders in ensuring that we'll achieve this project? Then you begin to think about, are we going to be working with children? Are we going to be working with women? Are we going to be working with so many multilateral stakeholders? Are we going to be working with community leaders? So in our own case, we determine in our heart that we're going to be working with educators, youth, governments, private sectors. We're working with facilitators around the world to ensure that this project is doable. So we started by calling for solutions across Nigeria. And we got hundreds and hundreds of solutions. We selected few of those solutions, which is about 34. And we created the solution that has been submitted in painting form so that we can generate awareness concerning the project that we are implementing right here in Africa. And having done that, we presented this solution in format that anyone around the world can understand. And by COP26, this solution was declared open officially at the Italian consulate and British High Commission as well. It was exhibited, and we had a virtual exhibition to represent the solution that will help us to achieve the goal that this project is set to achieve. And what next? We chose a particular project, not two. Out of the 34 projects were grouped into 5. We have biodiversity protection. We also have climate advocacy. We have tree planting and reforestation. We had renewable energy. So we chose to start by taking action towards tree planting in Africa, starting in Nigeria. So we designed the components of the project, because for you to achieve a project, you need to have the components of the project. You need to have the values that the project is going to be creating and the people that will help you to achieve. You can't do it alone, obviously. It's going to be a lot of company coming together to achieve the aim that you want to see. So we decided to use climate education and advocacy. People that are going to join us, especially the students, they need to understand what climate is all about. The community that will be supplying a whole lot of materials, the inputs, the seedlings, we needed to let them realize that this is why we are doing what we are doing, so that we can create massive employment. That's exactly what we did. So we had massive education curriculum. We partner with the government, the Ministry of Education, and they approved the schools that we are going to be working with. And of course, the curriculum was approved. And we also have trainers and facilitators that will help us to take the message to the students, to the stakeholders. And of course, the next thing is to plant the trees. As of today, we have planted 250 trees in 2 weeks. And we're still going to 100,000 in Lagos State alone. We already identify where these trees are going to be planted. We already know where our seedlings are going to be sourced. We're already paying for inputs that will ensure that we have this project on the ground as designed in our timeline. And the next thing was monitoring and evaluation of this project. How may we control, how may we measure the project we've started to implement? How do we report the project? So this is where technology comes in. Right now, we are inventing, which we have been able to do the first testing of the prototype of this device. This device is going to monitor all the trees that are going to be planted. Remember, it's economic trees. We're not planting non-economic trees at all. All of the trees that we planted so far and we're going to be planting in the next couple of months are all economic trees. So they're going to be tracked at one location. You will know, if I give you a code, if you get a code to a particular tree, you can actually track that tree, where the tree is planted, when it was planted, the species of these trees, what is the component of this tree, and the growth rate of this tree. We're using technology to track each of those trees. And of course, these trees also will continually be on that system, digital platform where everyone across the world can actually know what we are doing. And this is an innovation we are planning to take to different parts of the world. That is, you can sit in a place, plant some trees around the world, and you get to see what you have planted. So what are value addition? Engagement of students, engagement of educators, massive wealth creation, because we are buying from soil to manure, we are buying seedling, we're engaging planters, we're engaging agriculturists, we're engaging consultants, and of course, we are creating new enterprises under our green entrepreneurs. We are creating more new enterprises, and of course, social impact for the community. You know what trees is all about: air purification, reduction of climate change, environmental protection, and all of that. And the last one is economic development. We are promoting economic development through a single project. So my message to all of us today is to realize that talk is very cheap. Action can no longer wait. And if we truly want to achieve the world we need to say, we must collaborate and start doing something that the world can copy from us. Please do not say that you're far away from America, from Europe, from India. No, you could sit in your community and be driving action that will impact the entire world. So please, I'm imploring all of us here to take action today. Go back to the drawing board, draw your projects, collaborate with stakeholders. In our own case, we are collaborating with school, educators, like I said, government, private sectors, consultants, all across the country, just to achieve one goal of planting 10 million trees by September 25, 2030. I just want to thank you again for bringing me on board to speak about what we are doing around there. And climate change is very real. You are the one that the world is waiting for to create the change that the world wants to see. And you are going to be creating businesses that will help everyone across the world to take action. Thank you very much for having me once again.
Thank you so much, Ms. Foluke, Michael. That was a really powerful and inspiring session. And thank you for that wonderful tip you shared. The founders who have no idea where to start can look into the future they want, learn what is to be done, and later by attending different forums like this and design their project plan. I'm sure this session would really make our listeners think about what they need to do towards climate action. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome.